I would like to thank each and every one of you for your hard work and dedication to our cause. In reviewing this year's progress, let me say that we have been highly effective in conditioning the people's minds to accept our solution to the world's problems.
Watch any big-budget war movie or take in a spy thriller, and you could walk away not knowing just how much your movie experience was shaped by the Pentagon or CIA. However, a trove of official documents obtained under US Freedom of Information laws and published this year detail the dealings between filmmakers and intelligence officials at Langley, Virginia, the CIA headquarters.
As you know, we ourselves do not need to hold any visible office of leadership. As a matter of fact, it's better that we do not. If we control the finances, news media, food, transportation, energy, we control everything. The energy crisis here in the United States was exceptionally successful worldwide, and we expect similar success with our upcoming food shortage. Our labor leaders have made great progress by causing confusion and work stoppages in all areas of the world. Financially, the dollar is being devalued even faster than we could have hoped. Politically, the public has lost total confidence in any form of government. The threat of universal war is a daily possibility.
Big tech and the government are the same. Big tech is basically a propagandistic kind of a PR agency for deep state, if you will, deep state, police state, shadow government, whatever you want to call it. And by the way, they've been doing predictive programming in the UK for years based upon things like weather and where you are and basically listening to the sound.
So with our World Bank and computer program operational, we now have the capacity to control the financial affairs of every human being on Earth by giving each person his own computer number. Anytime his number is used, we would know his financial situation at once. He could not buy or sell anything without his computer number. It will simplify their lifestyles tremendously. The end result will be a one-world monetary and government system that we alone will control.
What about the individuals who refuse to have this number implantation?
We expect some minor resistance, especially from highly motivated religious groups. But eventually, hunger will cause even the most zealous to conform to our program.
So the idea, it sounds far-fetched, but remember, whenever you see something right there, this is a precursor. This was written a long time ago. And the people who write these stories are basically writing the laws right now and the technology.
Gentlemen, I believe that within a year, 2 at the most, our one world government will be a reality. If we continue on our present course, it is my opinion that we could present the devil himself as a world leader, and the people would accept him.
And the title of this session, are we ready for a new world order?
The world has to overcome not only the damage done to our economies and our societies by COVID-19, it also has to confront the repercussions. We have to uphold our responsibility, which we have towards the next generation.
For example, this morning when the topic was on the New World Order, this is something that will touch everybody, and we should all be involved in it, because whether we like it or not, the New World Order will dictate how things go.
What you just witnessed is the goal and the objective of the New World Order: to subjugate and ultimately force the entire world to worship falsely. This is not some conspiracy theory, but a fulfillment of Bible prophecy. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark. One may ask how the world will come to embrace a system that violates the conscience. By controlling every facet of an individual's life is the very basis of any tyrannical government. Once an individual is deprived of the basic necessities to sustain life, they will be willing to submit even to the most draconian measures. Introduce enough chaos by inflation, an energy crisis, food and fuel shortages, and it will lead to discontentment, civil unrest, and riots. Then establish order. Order out of chaos is their motto. Each succeeding crisis building upon another with greater intensity. A pandemic, war, famine, and climate change until finally the world embraces the very solution it once rejected.
What underpins a world order is always the financial system. And what we're seeing in the world today, I think, is we are on the brink of a dramatic change where we are about to, and I'll say this boldly, we're about to abandon the traditional system of money and accounting and introduce a new one.
Welcome back to Unfiltered. Listen, I've been warning you over and over, and now the Fed's saying the quiet part out loud. They want a digital currency. Ladies and gentlemen, it is the biggest surveillance tool you will ever see in human history.
And we're motivated by really what Christine was saying, to look very carefully at the potential costs and benefits of issuing a central bank digital currency here in the United States.
Because it is digital, it means the money can be programmed to be spent in any way in which the central bank or the government decides.
By programming CBDC, those money can be precisely targeted for what kind of people can own and what kind of use this money can be utilized.
One of my particular concerns is the World Economic Forum, because they're talking about implementing a carbon allowance. Now, this means each individual will be given a certain amount of, whether it's credit or whatever it is, carbon that they are allowed to emit.
We're developing, through technology, an ability for consumers to measure their own carbon footprint. What does that mean? That's where are they traveling? How are they traveling? What are they eating? What are they consuming on the platform? So, individual carbon footprint tracker.
So if I buy too many plane tickets, or if I buy too much meat, because those things are all supposedly very bad for the environment, my money when I go to fill up my car could then be declined.
Those transaction data in terms of how many coffee I drink every day, where I buy coffee, do I use Uber every day, and what kind of working hours I have. Those non-traditional data can be very useful for financial service providers to give me a credit score. And based on that credit score, the financial service provider give me a credit line.
Again, it really is the most tyrannical form of surveillance we will ever see. When they control the money, they control the world.
Let's have no illusions. We are in rough seas. A winter of global discontent is on the horizon. A cost of living crisis is raging, trust is crumbling, inequalities are exploding, and our planet is burning.
We're facing a food pricing problem in 2022 that's creating havoc around the world. Well, if we don't get on top of this thing quickly, and I don't mean next year, I mean this year, you will have a food availability problem in 2023, and that's going to be hell on.
Could see the biggest labor strike in U.S. history.
It would leave 7,000 trains parked, and that would lead to major problems getting fertilizer to farms, food to grocery stores before it spoils, coal and oil to furnaces, parts to car plants, lumber to home builders, and all of that could cause shortages of just about everything and send sky-high prices to the stratosphere.
in central Colombo, where hundreds of these student protesters are right now making their way towards President Gotabaya Rajapaksa's house. They blame the president and his whole family, really, that have long ruled this country for destroying its economy, and they want to see them removed from power. But standing in their way are busloads of riot police.
President Biden is using his strongest language yet to describe the nuclear threat from Russia.
At a Democratic fundraiser on Thursday, the president saying the U.S. has not faced the, quote, prospect of Armageddon since the Cuban Missile Crisis.
So there's been a nuclear attack. Don't ask me how or why, just know that the big one has hit.
New York City officials releasing a PSA on what to do in case of a nuclear attack. Their instructions: get inside, and stay tuned.
PSAs like this.
В ход пошел и ядерный шантаж. Речь идет не только о поощряемых Западом обстрелах Запорожской атомной электростанции, что грозит атомной катастрофой. Хочу напомнить, что наша страна также располагает различными средствами поражения, а по отдельным компонентам и более современными, чем у стран НАТО. И при угрозе территориальной целостности нашей страны для защиты России и нашего народа мы, безусловно, используем все имеющиеся в нашем распоряжении средства. Это не блеф.
Stretching from Iceland to Turkey, the leaders of the 44 European countries are now meeting in Prague. The agenda of the meeting is to build a new order and take a united stand against Russia's war on Ukraine.
For years, Tower Rock has been a monument you've had to admire from afar. But because of these low water levels in the Mississippi River, now you can get as close as you want.
Now, with the record-breaking drought in Europe and what it's revealing, water levels across much of the continent are at the lowest they've been in centuries, and historical artifacts once submerged are now being uncovered.
Time. What if we could go back in time, undo what we've done, and start over? I say what if, because that is simply impossible. There's no extra time.
This is your chance to step up.
To turn pledges to action and put our future back on the right track.
From making climate pledges to taking action, we are running out of time. Reaching net zero and achieving resilience will rely on radical collaboration across sectors, regions, and organizations.
BCG is proud to be the exclusive consulting partner for COP27, hosted by the Egyptian government in Sharm el-Sheikh. This forum will allow us to continue addressing the biggest challenge of our time: climate.
Venuta la sera. Fitte tenebre si sono addensate sulle nostre piazze, strade e città. We've closed all the churches in England for the first time since 1208.
These moments are universal.
We can no longer pretend that we're an isolated individual just concerned about ourselves.
Corona has given this little idea for us to stop and think. Corona is saying all of humanity is one.
This is an opportunity to understand our interconnection.
Brotherhood of humanity is a scientific fact. Everything is interconnected.
Physical and social borders are becoming more and more irrelevant.
We're all in this together.
Let us be together, exist together.
Challenges: can we transform interconnectivity to a connectivity of compassion? Su questa barca ci siamo tutti.
Beloved, has Christ sent a messenger here today? For what purpose? To gather you to Him. For what purpose? To tell you, to warn you, it's time to gather. Have you heard a message of warning, one of instruction? How will you respond to it? No joke here, friends. Tomorrow is not promised. We hear sermons, appeals. Oh, praise God, we sing church. But after church, we go right back as if we did not hear the words of appeal, the strong alarm of warning. Gather, fasting and praying. Gather, personal daily devotion. Gather, country living, food on your property. Gather, to Christ, victory over sin. Gather. It's time for evangelism. We're living in the gathering time, not scattering time, the gathering time. And those who refuse to gather, Christ is going to say in verse 38, behold, your house. Don't let me say it, my friends. Behold, your house. God is talking to you, my friends. Will you reject this message? What time are we living in? The gathering time. It's your final call to gather, your last chance to gather. We're living in the gathering time.